Random thoughts on the ascension this morning and what that might have to do with our lives in any way. At least my rambling thoughts. But a little bit of humor at the beginning. What's the ascension about? What's this feast of ascension? And if you go to a particular church, you might hear this lectionary text, you might not, probably won't, because most people don't know what to do with it. But what is the ascension about? In our context of these days of COVID, the ascension is the day when Jesus started working from home. So what do we do with this passage? I don't know exactly. But my thoughts start to mull over some thoughts that go through my mind. See, there's a story where Jesus ascends. And what do we do with this passage? I think it was Carl Sagan who said, if Jesus was still ascending and traveling at the speed of light, he wouldn't have left our galaxy even by now. So with our scientific minds, modern day people, what do we do with this story? I don't know, that's for you to figure out in your own faith, I guess. But for me today, it's a longing that comes in, because there's a passage in this story in Acts chapter 1 where there's a couple of angels that come around the disciples, and the disciples are all staring up into the sky with mouths wide open, wondering what it's all about and looking for Jesus, and they can't find any glimpse of Jesus anywhere. And I think that's indicative of my life sometimes and ours, as we stand there looking around for some sign of Jesus, for God, and we don't see it. And it fills us with a sense of longing and a sense of fear. And I'm thinking today about Jesus going home, so to speak, and about our own desire to go home or not to go home. And I'm struck this past week in the midst of funerals and death that we're just strangers here. We're just aliens here. Scripture says this world is not our home, and we're just here for a little while. And how striking that is. We're just a blip, and then it's over. And how temporary life is. How fragile life is. And this joke and sense of when Jesus started working from home just makes me think about home, longing for home and wondering how long I'll be here and how to make the most of my life. And then the disciples standing there looking at Jesus going home, so to speak, and wondering, well, when can I go home? I don't know. But then this fear of the disciples standing there and looking and then wondering if they're left alone. Are they on their own? And looking for some sign of Jesus that he hasn't left them alone. And of course, we know we get the presence of God and the Spirit, the Paraclete, who walks alongside with us. But this human struggle, of wanting to see Jesus and not wanting Jesus to go, and wanting Jesus to be present and wanting him to be near. I think it was Augustine who says, we stood there looking and turned in our grief, but then found you within our hearts. So where is Jesus? Where is God? Where is Spirit? Right here, right within, and within the heart of every other person we look at. Right here in this world, in the thick of it, and in the muck of it. So I come away with my heart being touched by these disciples, longing to see a sign of God, being afraid of not seeing a sign of God. And I come away and I'm struck and reminded of a quote by one of my favorite authors who says, life is a gift, and all of life in and of itself is grace. So I'll end with this longer quote to hopefully encourage all of us today. The grace of God means something like this. Here is your life. You might never have been, but you are, because the party wouldn't have been complete without you. Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Do not be afraid. I am with you. Nothing can ever separate us. It is for you that I created the universe. I love you. There's only one catch. Like any other gift, the gift of grace can be yours only if you will reach out and take it. Maybe being able to reach out and take it is a gift too. So I hope somehow, in some way, in my ramblings this morning, that you might find something helpful for you in your walk of faith today. Take what's helpful and leave the rest. And until next time, may you live all the days of your life.